Hi there, let's continue the self-healing in the advanced emotional field work. And there is, of course, much more to be put into this, but I would rather that you just get the rough ideas of this is how you can do it and then experiment yourself. So this is similar to whatever you're doing in life. You are taught this is how you do it. Then you begin to practice it. And as you practice, you develop your own methods. You develop your own way of doing this. And the only thing I will ask of you is to touch base with the teachings from time to time and see where you completely have spiraled off, because you kind of know this is the dynamic. We go into spiral, right? Just make a little bit of joke there, but not spiraling off into something that is inaccurate, so to speak. So this is where you are definitely developing your own mythology. You're definitely developing your own ways of doing this, but you are still touching ground with that the base principles in it are still within what we could say the correct mythology. So it's not that there is one way to do it. There are multiple ways of doing it, but it has a foundation in this. These are the dynamics. This is the mythology. And the only reason why I'm saying that is that I know the human brain has a tendency to forget things. It creates gaps in the information. It jumps over certain important moves to get to more. I want to go there and I want to go there as quickly as possible. But this is not about getting there as quickly as possible. This is actually about performing each part of the energy work to perfection. So this is a different way of working, of training. You're not training to reach your goal of becoming this or what have you. You're training to exercise the different steps in this work to perfection. So that's a completely different way of perceiving this type of work. So let me read on page 9 what I put there, actually using the self-healing in the advanced emotional field work. And then I want to again go a little bit back because I actually want to add in some things to the energy work. But in the whole basic energy work course, we work with different techniques to clear the energy patterns, the crystallization and energetic residuals from the regressed genetics and technologies, which are the old world order, so to speak. That is where I made that course to clear out these energies mainly, and then they expanded and they can always expand. But this is again understanding the basics of what we're dealing with here, how we classify it and what box does it belong to. So you understand, okay, there is the box that goes with the old world order clearing work, that goes with the regressed genetics, that goes with the Souls of Humanity book and all the material and the Taurology and onward and so forth. And then there is the current situation with those of you who are military projects. You have to embark on a different type of energy work. And then we have the transition energy work that will come later on once you have cleared out whatever you hold in your individual fields of the remaining factions and what have you of the old world order or the colonizers or the LPF2 field. And again, trying to, as much as possible, to circumvent the LPF3 field, the dark forces, the dark energies, the third cycle energies, even though we are connected to frequencies that are part of the third cycle. These technologies that are coming in from the extraterrestrial races will change completely that old type of lunar third cycle dark energy compositions that have been part of our physicality so far. Mainly the majority of humans have been working with the old world order grids and networks, and their template has been used within the colonizers' harvesting facilities and projects, and very few have been under the LPR3 dark forces. But unfortunately, due to the military projects and the failure of the attempt to redo the Atlantean projects with the children under the hidden military projects done in the 70s and 80s and 90s, they then, unfortunately, we have got a large portion of dark cycle energy, LPR3 infected types of energies that are now part of our physical reality, which is why we are seeing a rise of contamination levels from the old racial grids, aka the underworld creating new types of diseases, as well as what we can say a blast in weird neurological diseases that goes with the LPR3 field. A lot of malevolent ideas, separatistic ideas, negative ideas, hostile ideas, violent ideas, even though violence actually comes from the underworld and the contamination, because you remember from reconstruction of the planetary soul that some of the original mammal races turned into cannibalists and became enormously violent. So that's part of the contamination, actually, second cycle issues. Whereas when we're talking about the whole infectious level, separatism and etc., as the Bela material also touches ground with the dark ones and the left-hand path, and all of these things goes back to Atlantis. So that is part of that, but it's all connected to the LPR3, which is why I'm trying to sneak my way around that one and see if we somehow can work our way through the LPF2 field into the middle domain and there take a turn sharp right into the restoration program, where we will work with the original holographic metaverse ideas in the Pillar Project teaching systems that are similar to what the LPR3 reality field work with, but we will do it within the scope of the Pillar Project. So we will wait for that one. Until we get there, you do as many courses as you can in general science, develop your neural structure in your present day human brain to be able to process complex information patterns, and general science can be used for that. Plus, you'll get a lot of good information that you can work with if you do the understanding of a spectrum of everything. So into all sorts of general sciences, you can add the energetic layer, the psychic energetic layer to them, as I have exemplified over and over again. Okay, so again, let's break this down and say, what is the work? What do you need to do? So what you need to do is to get your food in order, to get your exercise, your nutrition in order, your exercise in order, deal with the rotundum, learn to work with these energies of your reality field in a basic level and into an advanced level, which is the new base program information I will start working with after this course, and then do the basic whole ideas, do these courses, get these concepts in place, do the basic energy work combined with this self-healing work in the Advanced Emotional Field Work course. You have just attended this one and closing this one off with this video. And also do the psychic energetic processes and modalities where you learn to work the dynamics of mind, the dynamics of energy work, the dynamics of perception. So you get that complex system in as well. So I've tailored it all to what you need right now to do the transition. And then we will work with that and go into the basic activation work, the basic timeline work. And later on down the line, once the time is for it, I will do the advanced template work courses, which will also be done as self-study. So it will come there, and that will be the top level of the Pillar 1-7, where I will really go in and say, okay, this is the template work you actually learned when you participated in Pillar 1-7. So you get that. And then if time is for it, if it's possible, I will extend it into Pillar work 2-8, where we work with society, the future of our world, and how we can participate in different projects that will assist whatever is going to happen on our planet, because it will be nice at some point actually to, not that we can change much, but we can alleviate and we can come up with innovations and we can use our higher order abilities to something productive, because at the end of the day, that is what they are to be used for, to transform, upgrade and develop the reality we are part of. And that is where this work eventually will pay off as well, not just in the scope of personal preservation and where we're going to go after this life, but actually also to pay back in a little way to the reality we are part of, which is part of the original natural dynamics of progressive civilizations. So of course we will work in that direction, or at least I will. But again, it depends on what will be possible in the future due to the collective field of humans and where they are pulling the planetary energies, that will of course determine how far we can go with whatever good projects we want to put in play. But as always, we work as if this is possible. We don't work as if it's not, because then there's no point in doing so. So anyways, this is again the whole philosophy book and that understanding of why we actually exist as progressive humans and what are the original dynamics of our existence. And we will take these original dynamics and put them into this work. And we will live by them. We will live by the principles and by the rules of engagement and by the laws of energy, and push them as far as we can in this system, but also keep ourselves in a psychic energetic balance with what is possible and what we want and what the outcome will be of this balance between what we want and what is possible and what we can then do, and then do it in a pace that suits us. And the goal is not to reach the highest level of all innovations and become professors and what have you. The goal is to break this work down so that we create and work with each layer of these understandings to perfection. So we implement it in our everyday life. So it becomes a way of being human that is very, very similar to the original ways that we were supposed to be in this solar system. That is what in the end will change the vibration of your energy system. And that is in the end that will change the vibration of your connection, that will allow you to calibrate yourself to the laws of energetic affinity that goes with the restoration program. But it is a lifelong way of existing that will get you there. It is not by you having done these classes and then you connect. Not at all. This is where you learn the dynamics, you learn the teachings, you learn this is what we're talking about. Then you have to put it into practice. Then you have to train and you have to do everything into perfection. And by that work, you will slowly but surely alter your energy system. You don't alter your energy system by one type of energy work. You alter your energy system by the continued daily effort of practicing the energy work to perfection. Okay? So this is what you need to understand. So to continue the reading, the emotional field map from page 6 can be utilized in that work too, as I have just explained in the previous video. Actually, it expands the work that was taught in the whole basic energy work course, as I also explained. So when clearing an organ, it is possible to connect it to the specific layer in the emotional field and the concentric circle it unfolds from. It is also possible to find its opposition, energetically speaking, whether or not it's above or below the diaphragm or to the left or the right of the concentric circles constituting the emotional field. So with that one, let's go back to page 6 again. To put that into understanding, that you are kind of saying, okay, let's look at this. I'm saying that you can find the opposition. What does that mean? The opposition can be above or below. It can be in front or in the back, or it can be to the left or the right. This is where you kind of have that orientation. When you work on the back, you're typically working with the past. When you're working with the front, that is where you're moving towards. When you're working above, you're working with, remember that illustration I made in some of my earlier material, you're working with the higher levels of our reality, which is combined and connected to the brain and the way the brain field will perceive on a higher dimensional layers. When you work below, you work into the ancient reality grids, and I do not recommend putting your orientation down there. That is just to be cleared out, but not to connect to, due to principle 3, that what you connect to and what you focus on, you give energy, and by that you participate in that reality setting. And I don't recommend you going down there. Let me just put that way. No need to take the elevator down. No, thank you. You just keep it above the diaphragm as much as you can, and the Bailey material recommends the same. So what is beyond the diaphragm is to be cleared out and made dormant. I've talked about this in the whole integration class 6 as well. This is where the sexual energies must go dormant. This is where the subconscious field, as much as you can, are cleared on a personal, individual level that is within the framework of psychological work. The moment you begin to see weird creatures and trolls and stuff and demons and things, that's where you've gone too deep. That's where you pull yourself out, clear it out, and move your attention to something else. Move your focus away from it, and then you will turn the other cheek and you won't vibrate in accordance with it. Unless, of course, it keeps coming back, then you have to work with what's in your face. So be very mindful. So this is where, when we talk about the older teaching systems that knew this, but it's never really been talked about. They knew this, even in the Kabbalah, you have the clip trot, but you kind of know under Malkut, you don't go there. You work upwards. This is why I put the illustration like that. You're working towards the higher realities, in the higher vibrational states, the higher radiation state that goes with the brain, and that movement upwards. That is kind of where we evolve as human beings. If you go below, you devolve, you go back into the past where you don't want to go. So this is eventually, and when we talk about the sexual energies, I have mentioned that in other places, but that will naturally run out as you alter your emotional field. And as if you clear your emotional field in the correct manner, aside from surges that are counter forces, you will become less and less interested in sexual activity, because that is part of the program. That is part of the programming to derail you and keep your energies low and centered into the physical processes. As you work more and more in your clearing work, you will naturally lose interest in sexual activity. So it will come eventually on its own. It's not something you force yourself to. The Bela material says the same thing. Don't force it upon yourself, because then it will be a suppression, and suppression works like the tectonic plates eventually blow off as a huge volcano. So that is not the way to work with it, but clear the fields is the approach to work with it. So if you do the opposition of front and back, that's the past and past, present, and future, as in the movement, the progression forward. So sometimes you can put your hands in front of you and see, is there something in the way out there? Is there resistance? Then clear it out. That's a block stopper. Until you get, let's put it this way, don't work with the back for now, other than if you feel the need to pull out snakes and residual energies, do that. But don't look at it, because the past is very connected to the brain and to the third cycle energies and the LPO3, because that is mainly what is at our back, which is why you don't really have possibility to put your hands back there and all these kind of things. Sorry about that. It is engineered in a way so you don't really access this, which is just as well. And then to the left and the right, which are also a type of past, present, and future, but work within your past life. When we talk about the front and the back, these are kind of movements in space, if you want to put it. That's the past of our reality field, as well as above and below. That is also part of our reality field, and the planetary setting, whereas the left and the right are your personal horizontal process from the past, present, and future. And these are to the left with your left hand, that is your past lives, and to the right, that is your future lives. So let us just keep it on the horizontal level for now with the diaphragm, but above, if you go with your arms, you can see your arms is if you stretch out your arms, they are at the length of your heart. They are not at the length of your diaphragm or your solar plexus area. If you do a little bit of anatomy, you will see the solar plexus is a bundle of nerves that literally connects to all of the organs that are in the intestinal area. And that's why that's the access point. As I say in the basic energy work videos, don't need to do the chakras, just focus on the different nodal points that are connected with the peripheral nervous system and the central nervous system, and understand how these work. The peripheral nervous system is divided into the parasympathetic and the sympathetic, and that is connected to the instinctual layers as well as in the little brain, but also the limbic system. Know this anatomy. So when you do your energy work in your physical form, you are like a doctor that knows exactly how your body is composed and how it works. And in the level 1 energy work, with the bioenergetic processes to clear out these, remove residual energies and crystallizations, you ensure a better health. And that work always begins with putting your hands on the spleen and the thymus, because that level of the work is to create a better health, boost your immune system, and assure that you are absorbing energies in a better way. But again, right now we don't really have any place to absorb them from. As I said, the sun in Denmark is being derailed derailed. The underworld grids are not a good place to go. The above is not good. So there's not really much we can draw in energies. And this is why instead of trying to upgrade ourselves by external energies, we are now doing it by clearing instead. It's very important to understand that as the energies go down around us, there are fewer sources that we can draw from, but there are ourselves and how the body itself then eventually will stop looking for energy sources outside, but will begin to push up to get it from the template level where it actually should get it from. And if we can get to that, that's the 6th dimension, then we can also begin to pull in from the non-contaminated grids that are part of our reality in the 6th dimension, or the Buddhi layer, as the Bela material also recommends. So this is how you ought to understand this. But if we work with the opposition energies, you can kind of say the lymphatic and immune system that goes with the spleen and the thymus, or the opposition of that one to the right is the liver. The liver is connected to the heart and the bloodstream. And I would not recommend you put your right hand on the liver and your left hand on your heart. Don't do that. That is a no-go, because your liver is highly contaminated. It's constantly highly contaminated because it cleanses the blood. And everything that you eat and do and whatever will be cleansed in your liver. It's a regenerative organ for the same reasons. Actually, the only regenerative organ you have. And it is clearing the second cycle energy. So the liver itself is connected to the underworld as well. But that is, you don't need to go down, but you need to know when you clear the liver, what you are to look for is to get it into that light energy and feeling of balance. Just clear it out as an individual organ, keep it there, but it is connected to the blood processes. Then once you have got the liver in balance, you can then clear the heart, the physical heart, as well as the bloodstream. And the physical heart is connected to the vasomotoric system that goes up with left and right side of the neck, which is the second one, which connects to sexual activity, connects to the lungs and the breathing system, but it also connects to, again, racial grids and underworld energies, unfortunately. But this is, again, where we need to focus on, keep it above the diaphragm, go for the golden energies, go with the pastel colors of frequencies, not the dark, muddy type of colors, because that's underworld energies. That's below the diaphragm. Energies that have gone into a high degree of contamination and infection becomes darker and darker and more muddy and more unclear. Whereas above the diaphragm, the frequencies you can work with there goes into pastel colors, go into higher vibrational colors, go into multifaceted versions of colors that are neon-like, that gets plasma-like, that gets fiery, that kind of becomes dynamic. And this is the different types of energies you can work with, just to add that one in as well. Okay, so you can see you can expand this energy work constantly by doing it. Constantly do it so that you work with this in a correct manner. And when we do the advanced version of the rotundum, you will know that kind of on that day, the energies are in that direction. They are fueled by this or that level of either planetary, solar, or lunar energies. And that will determine the axis point, what will surface in your energy system, because as your emotional field, including your biofield and mental field, but here we are focusing on the emotional field, that will be affected by the 4 world corners, which in essence are planetary, solar, stellar, and lunar, which they are a depiction of to a large degree. And again, the orientation in space as you have in your energy system above and below, left and right, and past, present, and future on a personal, individual level, the horizontal one. And then you have the front and the back. That's part of the planetary collective, past, present, and future that is also going through you as a beam. And then you have the above and below that kind of goes with the higher order paths and the lower order paths of our system that goes into what we could call the advanced civilizations that for now are beyond human sciences. So you can say this is how these things are combined together. And why is it that the front of you and the back is connected to what we call the evolution of our universal setting, because that's technically what it is. That is because that's the forward movement that is in progression, or the backwards movement that is in regression. And if you move backwards, you will always move downwards. And if you move forward, you will also move upwards. And again, this is the directions that you in a way eventually, not to begin with, but eventually will be able to work when you clear around in your field with your hands. But be very mindful, this is where it bridges into that level that goes with the 4 wheel corners. And if you're not really into what comes your way from this very high advanced level of work, well, then don't embark on it before it comes naturally to you, because that is opening up to a whole other scale of information that if you are not mastering the individual level, you will succumb to it. You will be possessed by it. It will inflate you and it will take you over. So there is great costs with pushing this before you're ready. So listen in and just focus on the emotional field where your arm can stretch out in the horizontal movement. Get that clearing direction in balance with it, with golden work all the time, golden light all the time, and then lie down and do the hands-on healing, clearing out the residual energies, pull out whatever's there, crystallization, energy cords, what have you. Rise up again and clear out if you need to pull out, and do the horizontal direction with your arms. Lie down again so you don't fall asleep. And then you can end with sitting up upright in a meditation contemplation, self-scanning, and this is where we'll continue on page 9. After you have done this, following the steps of the basic energy work videos, either on a specific issue or topic, or just a general clearing work when you wake up in the morning, as the same as you will also do a minimum of 15 minutes of exercise every day. And you will make sure you are getting the right nutrition during the day, that you will rest at the right times of the day, and you will follow the rotundum and the energies of the day, so that you constantly keep yourself in balance with the possibilities that are offered to you each day. This is how you get the discipline in the work. So, with this meditation contemplation, that is kind of, there's much to learn in the psychoenergetic processes from an advanced emotional field perspective. And this is after you've done the constitutional energy work, which I just explained, with the lying down and standing up and the horizontal position, the arms out and the clearing and the balancing and getting that one, and lying down again and clearing out the physical level 1 and clearing out whatever's left there, rising up, going into level 2 and clearing that one out with the arms out and the past, present, and future, clearing that one out, just keeping the golden energies, and then put your hands on until all of your organs in the whole torus area, including your brain, are just nice golden and white. That is kind of where you have this sensation of ease, balance, and wherever you put your hands, you get this golden white light sensation in you. You can also have a little bit of pastel colors, all depending on the frequencies in your organ and the frequencies that are in your emotional field. But that is the goal. Once you have got that, then you sit up and do this meditation scanning, as I step 1, 2, and 3 that I am here recommend you do with issues or whatever that has come up in the initial constitutional energy work. So this is where you go a little step deeper in your self-healing. And step 1, in a sitting upright position, you can do the lotus position if you like. Put pillows in your back so you sit okay, but upright, because you're going to use your brain in this. So you have to have the not going into the theta state, but you go into alpha state, but you're still having the residuals of the theta state where you can self-scan. And this is where in your energy work, or if you're having pains or heaviness or nausea or whatever, they are all signs of energetic unbalance or negative energetic activity. And when I say negative energetic activity, I'm talking about energetic parasites or energetic inclusions, as I call them, that has risen up from the underworld, or something that has come from above, actually part of the other reality fields within the LPF2 and LPF3, what have you, that has come in and has now lodged and latched onto your energy system. And that will present itself. The more you do the basic clearing work, the more you work with the upright down lying position, as I just explained here, the more the body itself will tell you that there is pain. You can have aching in the spleen. It is not always a physical pain. It can be, but it just feels sometimes like uncomfortableness. It feels like you feel unsettled. You feel the push of energy. You feel a weird kind of vibration or what have you. And you will find the source of this by putting your hands on. The more you work with your body, the more your body will become your correct partner. That is the first step of Principle 6, correct partnership. Be in correct alignment with your body, and it will become your best partner ever. And if you get that one in check, then you can expand it later on to work with other people, but not until you have learned to work with yourself in a complete correct manner, using Principle 6 in all the right ways and forms, working with Principle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 6 with your physical form, should you not really work with other people or try to get what we call energetically close to other people. Just putting it there. Of course, you always do what you want to do, but if you really want to nail this work, this is my recommendation. But as always, it's an advice. Do what you feel is right for you, because at some point you need some kind of infusion of distortion to figure out what you need to work with, because due to Principle 4, reality will show you what you need to work with, and that other people will come in play there to show you what you are in alignment with, and the people that are around you will show this alignment process, the incorrect partnership, so to speak, which will then be transformed to the correct partnerships. But as I said, in our reality field, probably leave you completely isolated and alone, because there is really nobody that has the same energetic signature and genetic signature as you have, since there are very, very, very few of us left. Okay, so in the meditation, you're now sitting up with this is contemplation. And if you have forgot what contemplation is, go to the Randy Green YouTube channel. That is the whole Academy Randy Green YouTube channel, where you have contemplation work. And again, it builds on the information given by Bailey, because sometimes you don't have to reinvent everything. If someone has done it in a really good way, you can just use this, adapt this, and then use that as a foundation. And the Bailey material definitely shows good ways of contemplation. So this is a step ladder of perception to scan and get to the root of any physical, emotional, and mental reaction. And this is where you kind of work again with 3-step ladder. You have the outer emotional processes, you have the physical outer processes, you have the emotional processes that goes from the psychological level until very deep high level, as you will work in that spectrum. You have the mental reaction, and here you're just working within what we call normal human reaction to it, as in, what do you believe it is? What does science tell you this is? It's good to, if you have a physical pain, you go through a little bit of step, as in kind of, could it actually be a disease that has now got so crystallized that I need help from a doctor? Which, I talk about in the whole advanced class 3, where I talk about, yes, if it gets crystallized to that point where it actually affects your organs, see a doctor. Do whatever the system, the base program is offering you, that takes care and hand of the physical form, that can fix what is going on in the physical form. Because if it has gone into this crystallization and it has become an illness and it has become a disease, or it has created cellular changes, there's very, very, very little you can do, so to speak, energetically to repair it, because it has then got into its entropy state, and then it's in a decay process. And then it's better to do what needs to be done on a physical level, but along with that medication, along with that surgery, or along with what you need to do from a physical physicist, whether it is massage, or it's actual doctor, or it's acupuncture, or whatever it is that you embark on, then also do the energy work behind. So you work with the physical repair system and not thinking that will take care of it, because then we'll just be recreated another place. Because as you remember, all physical issues have their root in emotional field in these different layers, and at large the mental field, but we're not really going there other than just working with changing our belief systems, becoming more constructive in our way of thinking, working with the mental schemata, and all of these things I will touch ground with eventually when I do the advanced work on the mental field. But I do need to do a little bit of research before I can come up with something that avoids the LPR3 and get us into the middle domain instead of our planetary setting. So that's why I'm not putting it out there right now, but waiting a little bit into 2022 to see where how I can tailor that one in a safe way so you can develop your neural structures as I keep talking about. But if you do clear your emotional field, you will slowly but surely begin to reconstruct your brain. Similarly, as in you were losing interest in what's below the diaphragm, you'll begin to reconstruct what's above, including the neural structures of your brain. So it all will lead to that eventually. But the reason why I'm pushing it further ahead is because I want all of you to be more on top of your emotional clearing work before you begin working with the brain. You can put your hands on the brain. You can do the clearing work on your brain. You can remove residual energies, and you can clear the field around your brain so it all gets into this sky blue, golden, white type of energies around your brain and in your brain. But that is kind of all. And then study to build neural networks that are able and capable of processing complex information patterns. Okay. So this is where we are now. This is what you can do in alignment with this work too, because the more you know, the more you can put it into different normal awareness level, then it's easier for you to also bridge into the double awareness level. So this is the 3-step ladder. Scan yourself from a normal awareness level. Is this something you need to take care of physically, going to a doctor or going to an acupuncturist? Be very mindful with that. Follow your instinctual layer if you choose outer people to assist you. Remember, people are people. They are not necessarily people, but they can be something entirely else. And if you really do this work, remember, every human can be altered and changed, and in both directions, all depending on what you're dealing with. So be mindful, follow your intuition on that one. Personally, if you ask me, Randy, are you going to see an acupuncturist if you have something, what have you? Nah, I'm trying to deal with everything on my own, but that's because I'm me and where I am. And I know that contact with other people, even though it's still a good clearing process, when I did my healer education and I was working with other people, I soon discovered that my energy system is so high vibrant that working with well-intended healers, they were good people, it's nothing to do with that, they contaminated me. So it's no point for me to go to an acupuncturist or a healer or what have you, because they will put me off. They will put me in a worse position than I had before, because I'm the only one that technically knows how I work and how I'm engineered and what is the best approach to my physical health. But of course, if there is something really, really wrong with me, I would go and see a doctor, and then I would make my decisions from there. Anyways, just so you kind of, there's not a simple answer to anything. It's all about choices, and it's about choices that are in alignment with your energy system and where you are on the spectrum of your progression curve. Okay? It's a learning curve, and you will develop yourself, and as you change your energies, you will get more on top of these physical ailments and eventually get less and less of them. If you're getting more and more of them, that is an indication as well. That teaches you and tells you that you have an enormous high level of distortion energies, and probably it is not the best approach for you to dig deeper into this one, but find another way to work around it, change the way you do energy work, and figure out what is then the right approach to get balance and see what is possible. Be realistic about it. Don't push yourself into something you don't have the capacity for. And there's no shame in that. It is also honorable to understand what you can and cannot do. Okay, one of the reasons why, both with the exile, but also later on in other systems of different versions of myself, I was not able to leave because I already got infected. So therefore, that part of me had to remain and do what I could do until I ceased to exist. So this is also being honorable in your work, acknowledging who and what you are and not trying to make it into something else. Normalize the situation by understanding it and working with it from a normal awareness, a double awareness. Okay. And then find out what is the energetic information behind from a higher order awareness level. And we already worked through that one, these 3-step processes in the psychic energetic work. But this is kind of how you go with it. And as you push through on all 3 levels with whatever you're encountering, whether it's physical or emotional or a belief system or what have you, you will learn to work in this trinity of information and from that make the choice. Okay, that's the scanning. And you will then know this is, okay, this is, when you do the double awareness, this is energetic and you get the energetic information. Then you ask the next question, how do I clear this out? Or what is the work that needs to be done here? What is the answer? What is the solution to this issue? What is the root? What is the process? What is what needs to be done? And then you begin that and you work on that until you have solved that issue, that pain. You work with it until it's gone. And in the beginning, this can take up to days, weeks, months. Sometimes it's a process of 24 hours where you're out in 24 hours. You sleep a lot. You have some kind of physical reaction for 24 hours. But if it continues after that, then that's where you kind of take away the energies, take away your hand, stop the process, and then let it subside into the underworld again and below the diaphragm, below the conscious level, and then work with something else. So again, in this work, you have to have a high level of discernment of when to push through and when to step back. Don't just push through because you can do harm, actually harm. When you really begin to do the clearing work on a higher order level, then you can actually do physical harm. And that is not the goal of this one. The goal is not to put you into complete decomposition within 2 weeks. That is not what we're doing here. Most of us have at least 30 to 40 years to remain in this reality. And that is the time we have to work with this, and we should take that time and not destroy ourselves in the process. And the Balen material in the esoteric healing book also advise the same thing. So this is not to be taken lightly. This is not just a quick fix and do it and then everything be good and fine. This is, as I keep saying, this is a way of living. Step 2, the ability to achieve energetic transformation in the healing work. That is, first answer what you think it means to achieve energetic transformation. And I want you to go through that contemplation process, as in what is energetic transformation from a normal awareness, a double awareness, or a higher order awareness level. So kind of have that understanding, because I've explained to you how I see energetic transformation, but what does that mean to you? With your constitution, your energy system, and your past lives and who and what you are, what is energetic transformation for you, and what does it mean to achieve it? What are you expecting of it? That is an exercise where you write it down before you even embark on the energetic or the healing work, or this is touch base with the work that you're doing it, so you keep having the goal in mind that is aligned with your energy system, your constitution, who you are and what you have done and what you have become, and these kind of things. So what does it mean for you? Write it down. Have a diary where you write it down in your hand. So you do a brain-hand connection, not on the computer, but brain-hand connection. And contemplate upon it, meditate upon it, work with it in the processes of the mind, in meditation, in contemplation, and in mindfulness. So you have that in order, in clear for you in what does it mean to achieve energetic transformation. And break it down as in, okay, this is what it means, this is what it is actually about, and then how do you make that into perfection. Then ponder upon how you would engineer self-healing exercises to achieve this energetic transformation in your daily energy work. That's the next step. This is where you begin to tailor your own teachings. This is where you begin to become innovative. Start there, because if you can kind of work with the engineering and the architecture of your body and engineer self-healing exercises that follows your constitution, what you're made of, having the right human sciences, the right double awareness understanding in what I've given you here, as well as the higher order information layers on that one, you will be able to make your own teaching system. And you can do what I'm doing here. You can make illustrations, or you can write it down explaining it, or you can make a video of it, which you can then listen to yourself in your healing work, as I've done in the basic energy work courses, where you do it one more time and then you record it. So you have it for later on, because remember, when you have these peaks of information that comes in, counterforces will come in quickly and snatch it away from you, and you will completely forget it, which is why it's a good idea to make your own videos. You can upload them Vimeo, and you can make them private. Or do it on YouTube or whatever platform you're using, but make them private just for you, or keep them on a USB stick or what have you, and then play them for yourself when you're doing the energy work. That is a way to develop your own teaching system, which is part of the 1-7 pillar, which is what we'll learn to do. That is the basic understanding of how to work with your architecture. And here, of course, we're working with an architecture others have made for us, but the whole goal of this transformation is, of course, to make it into something we get control of. Yeah, they might have made it, but we learn to re-engineer it, we learn to adapt it, we learn to transform it. And then it comes under our control and becomes our device to work with. Step 3, the ability to achieve a high vibrational state in the healing work. And again, firstly, answer what you think it means to have a high vibrational state. What does that mean to you with what you now know? Write it down, put it into your notebook. You can either have a notebook that goes with the achievements of energetic transformation, what that means, and you can have one that goes with the high vibrational state, because the high vibrational state technically goes with the progression work, and the other one goes with the engineering work. So this is again 2 different levels of your reality. That goes with the biofield, which is the engineering that your daily work should be about, the teachings, how to operate with your physical form. The high vibrational state technically teaches you how to do the progression work. So again, from a normal human awareness, what does it mean to have a higher vibrational state? From a double awareness, pillar project knowledge, progressive realities, true human ways of working with energy, going into the higher order awareness level, which is the origin of how we used to work with the vibrational state of existence. And that is the whole philosophy book. But you have to have your version of it according to your energy system, who and what you are, etc., etc. And by that, you can begin to work with what is your progression rate? What is your highest standards? What is your highest purity rate? Because the vibrational state bridges into this. This is where you bridge back to the whole contemplation, class 1 and 2, and the new grand cycle transition course 1 and 2 as well, where we talk about the purity rate, we talk about the higher standards, and we talk about the progression rate. What is the progression rate? And that is what I put in here. So you can kind of say this little contemplation exercise in the self-healing follows that build up. Again, higher level into more detailed information layers that becomes more personalized and are part of how you integrate this into your daily life. Then ponder upon how you would engineer self-healing exercises to achieve the high vibrational state in your energy work that would lead to progression sciences, which will then give you that information you need how to actually progress and develop your energy system into be able to align itself with the pillar project knowledge, which is part of the template work as well. But we can use the principles and the ideas already because that's part of the transformational process. We use this information to transform ourselves into that layer where we will build the energy system that will allow us to reconnect to the template layer and the original energy system and undo the seals and all of these things. But that's part of, again, other courses where we will dig into this. So with that one said, this is where I want to end this course. And it has, as always, been very, very interesting to unravel all these layers of information. And I have now recorded it and verbalized it and illustrated it and explained it. And now it's up to you to figure out how to take all of that information, bridge it to the information that are already produced, develop that into a trinity where you begin to implement it, work with it, figure out how you can tailor your own systems of thought, of exercises, what the goal of these are. Really dig into it, become innovative in the whole taking control of your own physicality, of your own fields and your own re-engineered state, and then transform all of that. And in that process, use as much as the material I've given, which will then, through these processes, through this work and through the training, step by step, will build that energy system that will lead you to the deeper and deeper processes that will eventually lead you to the information you need to continue these processes, and then eventually bridge you into a template where you then will begin and continue the original progression journey that we once embarked on a very long time ago. However much and how far you will push it, time will tell. We are in a constant, resistant room of energies and forces that are not engineered to assist us in this work, but that will not prevent us from doing it, because we will just transform the space in us, around us, and our own little jurisdiction, create our own little fields of energies, which, due to the energetic laws of energy and vibration and the segregation dynamics and how things as they were originally were explained in the whole philosophy book, will assist us in this work. We will create what is necessary to assist us in this work. We will create the benevolent energies that are necessary to assist us in this work. We will create the fields around us that are necessary for us to get in alignment with the middle domain, with the higher order types of energies, and we will create the energy system that eventually will bridge back into working with the highest purity standards, working with the highest progression rate, and working with the original relative reality dynamics of our system, which will bridge us to the middle domain, from where we will connect to energies that will work in our favor. But remember, once you get there, that is the exit route of this system, out of this system, and therefore just take it slow, work in a pace where you work to perfection, you work to refine, you work to do it correctly. You don't work to blast through with 100 kilometers an hour. You work to do it correctly, to work with whatever step is on the way to perfection, and by that build up your energy system, transform your energy system, build up the higher order levels step by step, in the correct manner, in the correct pace, and in a way that will constantly keep you in a trinity of dynamics, of processes, of spectrums of energy, of multifaceted information, as well as constantly keeping the balance so that you always are in the best health, in the best mental capacity state, and in the best emotional vibrational state, that will ensure that whatever happens around you will be something you can work with from the correct level of understanding, with the correct type of energy, using the correct transformational processes to derive the correct type of knowledge. This is what will keep you going. This is what will get you to the highest progression rate with what is possible within our system, and perhaps later on in the future, beyond what is possible now. So with that one said, thank you for listening in, and thank you for participating in this course. As you know, the plan is now I'll go with the new base program material, that course that is also on within the whole academy offerings of self-study. And the first step will be the rotundum. So if you want to continue from this course, then once that is ready, it's not something that will be there right away, but look into the whole academy courses, because I will make these courses. But the question is when, and the question is when the windows of opportunities allow me to make these courses, and therefore it will take time. But again, It's better that it takes time because at least it will be correct, it will be perfect, it will be worked through, and it will come when the time is right, using the original dynamics of alignment, using the original dynamics of energetic and genetic affinity, and by that follow the original principles of the pillar project and the workstations and how we used to work back then. It is all a matter of what is possible and what our reality is made of and where we are in our own educational journey and in our own progression work and what is the purpose and function of whatever we are doing. And that is also a process of processing and working with higher order sciences to understand these dynamics. This is where we really become humble in our work, where we truly understand that everything is interconnected and how much and how far we actually affect ourselves, others, and the reality we are part of. And with that one said, until next course you embark on, take care, do well, and be good. Thank you.